Alright, so for today I'm going to show how to refurbish, kind of clean up a Super Nintendo game. This applies to pretty much any Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis game, any cartridge-based game with pins. So this one right here is not in the best of shapes. As you can see, nice little buck low on the back, and just a couple little marks and scuffs and junk, and felt like this would be a good donor to kind of show it out. What you're going to need actually to open one of these things up is, I want to say this is a I don't think it's 3.5 millimeter. Maybe it's 3.5 millimeter security bit. You can buy these off of eBay. This one says NEX USA number 6, but I mean, if you look up on eBay security screwdriver for Super Nintendo games, Sega Genesis games, you'll most likely find these both. This one's used for Super Nintendo, Virtual Boy, stuff like that, and the bigger one, I think it's like a 4.5 millimeter. This is used for like Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64 uses some of these too. So you're gonna have to get yourself one of these, and then one of these type of ratcheting screwdrivers also helps very well. And go ahead and show you why I'm not even going to attempt to put this thing in my Super Nintendo right now. This is a good old cartridge, I believe. Yeah, I got this one from Goodwill. So, and they generally come like this. That's sometimes why they're donated. But chances are it probably works. But I'm not even going to chance sticking it in. And I don't know if you can see it that well. There's like gold up here, and below it it's just like black. It's like a sooty, nasty, black smudge crap that I wouldn't even attempt to stick in my Super Nintendo right now. I mean, some people will say, oh, you know, just put alcohol or Windex or something on that. Definitely not going to recommend Windex, but alcohol is a good way to start at this, but we'll go ahead and try that first. So what you're going to need is you're going to want to get some 91% isopropyl alcohol. I used to get 99 all the time from Meyer, but I guess it's like illegal to sell now. I guess kids been sniffing it. I don't know. Something like that. So you're going to want to get some alcohol. I definitely recommend that. It's like a couple bucks. I mean, honestly, I bought this game, I think it was like $2 or $3. So, I mean, a $5 investment to get a game, Super Mario World working isn't terribly bad. So, I'll try and clean that off first. And yeah, you just get a Q-tip, like you saw, dip it in some alcohol and just kind of rub it down. See what happens. Yeah, that's definitely not going to come off just with alcohol. You can push fairly hard on these. It's not really going to hurt it. I mean, I'm not saying like jab it into it with like your full strength. That probably wouldn't be the smartest idea, but as you can see, I'm just going pretty much up and down, and I mean, it is coming off for the most part, but the pins are still really dull. Like if you've ever had like if you ever remember back in the day, maybe you don't, like brand new games and how shiny they were, and like just, I mean, it was just so reflective, you know, the gold off of the connector. But I don't know if you can see that. They really didn't do a whole lot. There's still a lot of these little like edge marks from the pin that have kind of like, it's not even, I don't think it's really eaten away at it. I think it's just, it's patinaed, I guess is the word for it. It's not rusted, but it's dirty. So what I'm going to recommend next is you get yourself this little awesome cleaner right here. It's called Brasso, and it's a metal polish. Now, some people will say, not such a good idea, it's going to eat away at your game's pins and stuff like that, but they're full of crap. I'll basically say that outright. This is a brass, copper, stainless steel, chrome, aluminum, pewter, and bronze cleaner. I've cleaned a game, Nintendo games, that's probably 10 years old now, and they work like brand new. The traces aren't eaten away or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, I can't be liable for damages to your game because, you know, everybody's sue happy nowadays, but this stuff works. I mean, I'll just say that. It does work, but I guess use at your own risk. But what you're going to do is you're just going to need a tiny little bit of Brasso. Squeeze it out on a Q-tip there and just apply it to the edge connector. You're going to see how much of a difference this stuff makes. Now it does scuff up the metal a little bit. Not so much that, like, yeah, you can see the Q-tip already. Not so much that it's like, I don't know, like I said, eating away at the traces or like deteriorating anything. It's a cleaner. I mean, what it does is it has a little bit of abrasion in it, and it gets off the dirt, and it applies a coat of protectant at the same time. So you can see, literally, with the Q-tip, it was a little black, but like this is like whole much darker than the just the alcohol. So I would recommend doing it at least twice. If you really wanted to, you could really go at it and get it perfect, but I'm not looking for it to be perfect. I'm just looking at it to be a little cleaner than it was before. So you just go ahead and just go up and down. You can go pin to pin. Doesn't really matter. But you apply the wet side, and then sometimes what I like to do is I just like to clean it up like that on the other side. And then we'll switch to the other really quick and do that. Go ahead and clean these pins up. I mean, you can, it's like night and day difference. I'll show it here in a second, but like all that gook on it from before, it's pretty much all off. I mean, the pins are a little discolored, which unfortunately happens if that stuff stays on there for a while. It does kind of, not the Brasso, the patina, whatever you want to call it. That's the only word that's coming to mind. That will eat away at the gold coating on it after time, because obviously if something like that stays on the pin, say for like 5-6 years, you know, if you ever left something out in the rain, or if you ever left something just exposed to the elements, that's what it does. It eats away at the metal. So now this is a little hazy now from cleaning it with the Brasso. So what you're gonna do now, just for safe measure, I mean, you could stick it in the Super Nintendo right now, but just get a little alcohol and just clean it down. And like I said, go to Meijer, Walmart. Everyone has alcohol. Try and aim for the higher percentage, because if you get the 50-50 diluted, I mean, there's always a chance that you could short circuit something. So definitely want to avoid bridging anything together. With 91%, you have 9% water, but 91% alcohol, so chances are pretty slim. So, and yeah, you can, I don't know if you can see that now, but it's like, I don't know, it's like a night and day difference. I mean, all that black gook is gone that wasn't taking it off with alcohol. Some people say you can clean the pins with erasers and stuff like that, and it's just that's not going to cut it. You're going to need a cleaning thing like Brasso. And I think this Brasso, I think I got it from like Lowe's, Menards. I think a lot of these, you know, convenience stores carry this. It's like $2 or something like that for that 8-foot, and that thing's been lasting me forever. But yeah, I mean, this should work, no problem. So that connector is all clean. And another thing is, if you're having like save problems with a game, another thing that's useful is to get yourself a multimeter. Obviously, you don't have to get one this severe. This one was like, I think it was like $60-$70 for this one. I mean, you can literally buy the cheapest one at Walmart, and it should do exactly what you need for it to do, which would be to just check the voltage of the battery and set it to DC, since this is direct current and we're not going from like a wall socket, which would be AC. And on the little battery connector here, the positive is this fatter pin on the bottom, and the negative is the smaller one. So you can honestly do it reverse, like right now. That's not going to hurt anything. It'll just show negative up on your multimeter, and it's saying it's negative 3.28, 27, just about. So that's in totally operational condition. Like, this should have no problem saving, and if it does, it's definitely not because of the battery. It's probably the SRAM on it, the save RAM. That would probably be corrupted, or maybe a trace be broken, but the battery is totally fine. I mean, they come from the factory like 3.3, 3.2, so this has barely lost a charge. I mean, this thing's probably got another, I would be hesitant to say, at least 5 years on it, so this is good. So that's all done. Battery checks out okay. I haven't even popped, I'll break it before I even fix it. I haven't even popped this thing in to see if it works already, but I mean, you see now that the pins are all clean, battery's working alright. Now let's meander our way down to the case. And you can see here there's like dust, and we got bucklew, however you want to pronounce that on the back of there, and there's like a bunch of dust and stuff in here. So it's not always a bad idea to open almost every game you get. If you're not as anal as I am, I would say all freedom to you, but I mean, it's always nice to have them clean so you don't have to ever repeat any of this. So really, all you need, again, is just alcohol and Q-tips, and you can get into these little corners and stuff. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, how in-depth you want to go with it. I mean, I've seen people use Mr. Clean Magic erasers on the plastic, and that's one way to do it, but I do realize that not everyone's a millionaire, and those things are kind of expensive. Well, I shouldn't say you're a millionaire, but if you're cheap like me, you're probably not going to just go out and buy a million magic erasers. And one side effect of using alcohol is it kind of dries up the plastic a little bit. But one very easy remedy for that, I will show you in a minute when I'm done cleaning up all this marker. I like it. It's not too hard to get this stuff off. You literally Q-tips again and just a little force, and it does depend on the marker a little bit. Some markers are more stainable than others. Like some of the permanent markers just really like get into the grooves of the plastic. Like, I don't know if you can see there, but it kind of dulled it out a little bit. Not too severe, but dulled it out a tiny bit. I mean, you can even clean labels with a little bit of alcohol. I don't really recommend soaking it in it, but there's some sticky stuff here. You can just really quickly do that. I mean, it depends too on how degraded your label is, but you can clean it with alcohol because it does have that little overlay protection sheet. But again, I stress that if your game, like the laminate's kind of peeling up, I would totally recommend not doing that. But since this one is alright, you could go ahead and do that just for an example. And it kind of cleaned up the sticky part right here. But then we will get to the back with Mr. or Mrs. Bucklow, or however you pronounce that. And I don't know if you can see, I already tested. This should come off. I don't know if it's going to come off all the way, but you can see that it's just kind of getting the marker off. I mean, like, see, this looks more like a almost like a Crayola thing. So it looks like it looks like it's almost it should come almost completely off. Sometimes it doesn't, because it's really just got into the grooves of the Super Nintendo cartridge. Because the plastic is textured, so it should fade. It should come off pretty well, but it probably won't come off completely. But it definitely fades it more than anything. And I'm just rubbing it on my jeans right now because I just have crap jeans on, or crap shorts on, I should say. I would say probably smarter is to get a rag so you don't stain your shorts or jeans. But yeah, I mean it's coming off fairly well. For the most part. But so that's fairly noticeably different than before. You might not be able to get it completely off. There are ways you can sand it down. I've seen some people take straight alcohol like this and put a mechanical toothbrush in it and just kind of like go at it for a bit. Like I have a toothbrush here, but I don't think it's really gonna do much. And they literally, because some people are just crazy anal about some of this stuff, is they'll just go at it until the name's completely gone. And I've had my moments, but that isn't terrible. But you can see that it's really kind of taken the almost the luster out of the plastic. So, and I will have to grab this stuff really quickly. But a very household can of WD-40. It really works well with these plastics. The secret of it isn't really too secretive, but you just spray a little bit on a cloth. Make sure not to breathe too much of it in, and you just wipe away. And you can go over labels and stuff. I mean, be careful. I mean, don't douse anything, obviously, but just go over the whole cartridge area real quickly. I mean, however, how much into the little crevices and stuff, that's completely up to you. I mean, if it's like earthbound or something, you might want to clean it a little more carefully than you would, like, I don't know, Barbie's Funhouse or whatever stupid Super Nintendo game would be. But you can see the difference, and you don't want to really let the WD-40 sit on there because it's just going to attract a whole bunch of dust. So spray it, get it wet, and then just wipe it down with another cloth. And it is going to be a little oily, but if you do wipe it down well enough, it shouldn't be anything that be too concerning. Like this right now, that's not that bad. So I mean, just wipe it down real quick. And then you can go ahead and do the same with the front, and you can go over the label too with that. And you can see how much that clears that label up. I mean, it's like black now instead of gray. I don't know for what reason why WD-40 does it. It's just a grease. I mean, I know it repels water. I don't know why exactly it brings out such a shine in plastic, but I mean, that's how it works. And I mean, you can really see the difference it makes. And just make sure to wipe it down real well, and you should be ready for business. But yeah, and we'll just go ahead and put this back together with the security bits, the PCB back in, and it is pretty idiot proof to put this back in. I mean, you can't really I mean, as you can see, you can't really put it in the wrong way. I mean, I've done this so many times, it's kind of self-explanatory to myself, but I mean, you just go like that, go with the notches, and it should go together just fine. And then you go ahead and just go like that, screw it on together, and then we will see if this wants to work in one shot. Hopefully it does, and I won't look like an idiot, but and one thing I do recommend is if you get one of those ratcheting screwdrivers, it's probably smarter to just go ahead and screw this in by hand, because I have stripped out games by trying to screw it together too tightly with that ratcheting screwdriver, and it doesn't really make for the most enjoyable experience because this thing's like flapping, but I mean, go ahead and make sure it's tight on there. Yeah, that's pretty tight. I mean, you don't want to over tighten it like I said, but do make sure it is a little tight. And that rattling noise might not just because it's not tight enough. No, no, it's tight enough now. So, let's go see if this thing works. One try. Just gotta turn it on. There you go. And that is how you refurbish a Super Nintendo game. I mean, I can guarantee you almost 100% it wouldn't have worked before with all that black soot and crap on it. But now it looks like it's working just fine. So hopefully that helps a couple of you guys out there with being a little wary how to clean your cartridges and whatnot. So yeah, thanks for watching.